Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slasher Uprising channel, the home of the slasher movie. In this video, we will be taking a look at the first 10 slasher movies that I reviewed for my slasher movie archives. Why are we doing this? Well, I recently reached a milestone on the channel, having reached 50 episodes in my slasher movie archives. In fact, as of the recording of this video, we're past 50 episodes. To have an archive, you gotta have a catalog. And I'm starting to think that my catalog of slasher movie reviews is starting to come together quite nicely. So celebrate with me and let's have a look back at the road so far. It's New Year's Eve and a group of college co-eds have planned a masquerade bash aboard a chartered train. What they didn't plan was that a knife-wielding psycho would crash the party and begin slaughtering the guests one by one. Who is this brutal costume killer? Could it be the mysterious magician with a talent for swordplay, a former frat pledge with an axe to grind, or any number of other guests, both invited and uninvited? Climb aboard the terror train for a frightening combination of blood-curdling horror and intriguing mystery. The movie opens up with a drunk staggering alongside some train tracks. He stumbles into his house where his family awaits his arrival. He gets into an altercation with his wife, which leads him to cut her neck with a knife. And when she gets her opportunity, she buries the knife into his back as he walks away. The woman gathers her children and escapes away into the night, and hides away for the next 40 years, where the movie will take us to present time. IMDb has the plot description of this movie listed as: a film crew producing a rock music video decides to shoot at an abandoned factory above the snow line. When an avalanche strands them, a murderous family living in the factory attacks and kills many of them. Horror hits the slopes in this sexy slasher film about a gang of snowboarders on a one-way chairlift to terror. Featuring hot young stars, killer suspense, and a snowboarding sequence to die for. Shredder is an ice-cold, rip-roaring scarefest that takes terror to a whole new altitude. When 7 hot-blooded co-eds break into an abandoned ski lodge, the stage is set for a wild weekend of hot partying and heavy powder. But when the bodies start turning up, they begin to suspect they're not alone. Stalked by a psychotic skier, the gang soon discovers that on the slopes, no one can hear you scream. When Winona, a thriving musician, returns to her hometown for a much-needed break from her stressful lifestyle, the relaxing vacation quickly turns into a frantic fight for survival. After running into an old boyfriend and some friends at a local bar, the group returns to Winona's cabin to continue their reunion, where they find themselves face to face with death. Disguised behind an icy mask, a killer is lurking and will not stop until there is no survivors. Blood Runs Cold is a frostbitten slasher that turns the snow red with gore. This snowy massacre will keep you chilled till the end. A group of women gather at a weekend casting call at the secluded mansion of director Jonathan Stryker. He's searching for the perfect woman to play the role of the crazed character Audra, and these women are just dying for the chance to play her. Stryker's last star, Samantha Sherwood, is so determined to get the part, she committed herself to an asylum to prepare for the role. Unfortunately for all, a crazed killer in a disgusting hag mask is viciously murdering everyone, one by one. Who will survive the final curtain call? After being horrendously embarrassed by the mean girls at school, Faye, a practicing witch, summons the evil Cupid to take revenge on all those within the school grounds. However, All turns very real on Valentine's when Cupid does in fact rise, and he will stop at nothing until the walls are covered in blood. The students must figure out a way to stop Cupid and undo the spell before their hearts get broken, very literally. On Valentine's Day, someone always loses their heart. 20 years ago, this small town lost more than that. When supervisors abandoned their posts to attend the town's annual holiday dance, a tragedy claimed the lives of 5 minors. The sole survivor, Harry Warden, was institutionalized but returned for a vengeful massacre on the disaster's first anniversary. 19 years later, the town is gearing up for another Valentine's Day party. Teen sweethearts TJ and Sarah, along with their friend Axel, are among the excited partygoers. But when a box of candy containing a eerie warning and a blood-soaked heart arrive, the townsfolk realize that romance is as good as dead, and so are they. Valentine's Day, a time for love and romance. Not anymore. 13 years ago, 2 young lovers were brutally murdered at Lover's Lane by a crazed killer wearing a steel hook. The killer was caught, but the scars he left behind never healed. Now it's Valentine's Day again, and the killer has escaped with revenge in his heart and his deadly hook. When a group of teens head up to Lover's Lane for a little romance, the action gets hotter than they planned. It's up to Michael and Mandy to overcome the past, stop the killer, and make sure that history doesn't repeat itself. Eric Rhodes is not the charming young writer he appears to be after he murders a young woman after a date because he believes she wasn't destined to be with him. In Eric's mind, he is fated to find one true love, just like in the ancient myth of Cupid. Eric's obsession with Cupid again turns into deadly reality when he meets another woman at a local bookstore. But Eric's dark past, which includes the unsolved murder of his parents and former lover, is uncovered. Matthew, a deranged young man with a hook for a hand, uses all kinds of weapons to murder and torture women. He becomes obsessed with a prostitute that he will take as his bride, whether she likes it or not. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the Slasher Uprising channel, the home of the slasher movies.